House Democrat is accused of accepting illegal campaign donations from a controversial marijuana dispensary chain. That's right. A nonpartisan ethics watchdog has filed a formal complaint against the House Democrat running for re-election, calling for the Federal Elections Commission, the FEC, to investigate potentially illegal contributions from a controversial marijuana dispensary chain. The Foundation for Accountability and Civic Trust, better known as FACT, submitted the complaint on Monday, alleging that Representative Andrea Salinas, Democrat from Oregon, 2022 campaign, and her joint fundraising committee each accepted a donation from Lamitte, Oregon's second largest cannabis dispensary, that appears to be an illegal prohibited contribution or an inadequately disclosed contribution. But a source with knowledge to the transaction is pushing back on the complaint, telling Fox News Digital that there was actually only one donation, that it was improperly reported due to a data entry error, and that it has ultimately donated in full to a nonprofit once negative news reports about the Lamitte began to surface. According to the complaint, Salinas' campaign committee, Andrea Salinas for Oregon, and her joint fundraising committee, Salinas Victory Fund, both reported $1,000 contributions from Lamitte in August of 2022 ahead of the November general election. It added that neither included the person within the limited liability company responsible for the donation as required by federal law. However, the source with knowledge of the transactions told Fox News Digital that there was actually only one contribution of $1,000, not two, and that it was given to Salinas Victory Fund, which in turn transferred it to the campaign on the same day. The typical flow of campaign cash donated to joint fundraising committees. Concerning the identity of the contributor, the complaint noted that an LLC can either be treated as a corporation and therefore be prohibited from making contributions, or as a partnership that can make contributions so long as the contributions are attributed to partners and subject to the federal individual contribution limit. And a quote, "An LLC is treated as a corporation if it has publicly traded shares or has chosen to file as a corporation under the Internal Revenue Services, the IRS rules, and is generally prohibited from making political contributions." The complaint said an LLC is treated as a partnership if it has chosen to file as a partnership or has made no choice as to whether it is a corporation or partnership under the IRS rules. It added that an LLC must notify the recipient that it's eligible to make contributions, and who within the LLC the contribution comes from is in the FEC filings, which Salinas' organization did not do in the case of Lamitte. In a quote, "Evidence that the Salinas campaign committee and her joint fundraising committee either accepted an illegal contribution from an LLC or improperly reported funds from Lamitte are provided from their own FEC filings, which clearly do not inform the public as to the source of the funds." FACT exclusive executive director Kendra Arnold said in a statement, "What makes this case even more troublesome is the suspected contributor's involvement in significant political scandals and numerous legal issues with which the campaign obviously would not want to be publicly associated. We urge the FEC to investigate and impose the proper penalties to deter future violations," she added. Arnold's mention of Lamitte's post scandals and issues referred to multiple civil lawsuits, federal investigations, and federal tax liens the company has faced, including a controversy involving former Oregon Secretary of State Sheming Fagan, a Democrat who resigned last year after it was discovered she was working as a consultant for Lamitte during the same time her office conducted an audit on the cannabis industry. The source pushing back on the complaint told Fox News Digital that the transactions occurred 8 months before any negative reporting concerning Lamitte came to light, and that once it did, the $1,000 was then donated to Marion Polk Food Share in Salem, Oregon, since the Salinas Victory Fund had already been approved for termination by the FEC in early 2023, and the contribution couldn't be returned. Fox News Digital verified the donation to the nonprofit, and Fox News Digital has reached out to Salinas' campaign for comment. And Salinas was first elected back in 2022 and is running for re-election in Oregon's 6th congressional district. She currently faces no challengers in the Democratic primary, and elections analysts rate the race as a lean or likely Democrat. So she's not going to lose her job. She's going to end up continuing on, and this fraudulence is going to continue to happen in Oregon. What do you guys have to say about this? This is Jason Beck for the High at 9 News. What do y'all think?
Not sure why there's no penalties for committing fraud.
Right?
It's like a normal thing these days.
It is.
Right?
It's very normal.
Since the orange man made it okay, now everybody wants to try a little fraud.
I thought Joe Biden is the one that made it okay.
I have never seen much ado made about nothing. You just literally, I just watched my boy Jason get pimped by the clickbait of Fox News over $1,000 donation
I think it's
that
a big
maybe
deal.
shouldn't have been taken. I saw this article. I thought about covering it, but then I would have taken your red meat, right? The diet of this is so non-relevant. I mean, we could go back through the history of questionable donations, and this would be a pimple on a fly's ass in relative terms. And yet Fox covered it, you covered it, the echo chambers covering it.
That's right.
The $1,000. It wasn't two,
bro.
it was one.
$1,000 is a lot of money to people.
No, it's not. Not relative to political campaign finance. No, it's not.
But to
that
people it
statement
is.
right there
But
is
to people
exactly
it
what's
is.
wrong, because it's facts without context. And shame on all y'all who think this is news.
They just getting it from all angles this morning. I love it.
Oh, yeah. Talk about it Tuesday. Talk about it Tuesday. No, but just so everyone understands, too, only people are legally allowed to contribute to campaigns. Businesses.
Corporations are people, too, bro.
Yeah, not in this case, as stated in the article. I'm glad your microphone's finally working, Simon. I'm glad you figured out your technical issues. It seems like you figured out your technical issues in about the same amount of time it takes you to roll a backwood. Yes.
No, I want to say that it's very eloquent and Shakespearean, the bipartisan poetry that we're unraveling today. Of course, this is just pot shots at political rivals. Let's talk about the broader issue. Why shouldn't cannabis companies and corporations be allowed to make donations to their favorite political?
It's not just cannabis. It's all companies in general, Simon.
But we know that's not true.
No, that is true. No. That's not true. That's not true. Corporations. Hold on a second, Simon. You got to understand how it works. Corporations, if they're going to write a check, if a corporation's going to write a check, they're going to write a check to a super PAC. Okay, that is going to do that is not a campaign contribution. That is totally separate from anything like that. Campaign contributions are limited in how much you can give, and can be I think it's $5,800 or $5,600 per congressional member per person, or for married couples, then that would be doubled to $11,600. And so that's basically or $11,200.
But if you want to talk about reforming money in politics, let's talk about these dark super PACs, the lack of transparency,
100%.
the money that's coming in that it has no accountability. I mean, this is, again, a pimple on a gnat's ass. And yet you've got Fox News covering it, and then they followed up to confirm. Fox News spent more money on their staff confirming the non-news than the total dollar amount of the donation. This isn't news. And if we want to talk about money in politics, this isn't where we start, and it's not where we end.